Hello everyone, it's your favorite realtor, Erica Hernandez with RE/MAX Top Realty. Happy June to you, and thank you so much for coming back to my channel. Today's topic is going to be super relevant with the market right now. It's so crazy how with time passing, every generation has their own changes that come about in the way that they choose to live their life. I feel like recently I've seen a lot of couples that are not married and purchasing homes. If you'd like to learn more about couples who are not married and purchasing a home, please stay tuned. Don't forget to follow me on social media at Erica Houston Realtor on Snapchat, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and Twitter, and go to my website at www.erikahoustonrealtor.com. I'm seeing this trend a lot where people are choosing not to get married, but they do want to have a life together. They want to have kids together and all this good stuff. And all we do is we just educate you guys so that you understand what it means to purchase a home if you're a non-married couple. All right, so there's a lot of things to think about when you're deciding to purchase a home with someone that you're not married to. For example, you want to talk about who is going to be giving the down payment for the home. If you decide to split all the fees of purchasing a home right in the middle, then it might be a little bit easier to handle this down the line. And I say that because if you decide to separate and there's no legal divorce, you'll have to decide who is going to get what, how much money each person put in, and it might get a little tricky if you cannot agree because Texas law says that when you are living with someone, it is called common law marriage. I remember hearing this a lot about common law marriage, and if you live with somebody, you have full rights to their home. Full disclosure, I'm not a legal expert, but in Texas, we do have common law marriage. And if you are living with someone and you're getting mail there, it's your primary residence, and you're not on the loan or you're not on the deed, you still have rights to that home. So going back to the first thing you should consider is who is going to put what. Are you guys going to split the closing cost? All that good stuff. Question number 2 is, who's going to go on the loan? Is the person that makes the most money or the best credit going to go on the loan? Or are you going to try to decide to put both of you guys on the loan? You can actually combine your income, even if you're not married, to be able to purchase a home and get a home loan. So that's not an issue. You don't have to be married to actually apply together to purchase a home, just for your information. The reason I do bring up of who's going to pay for what is if you guys split up down the line, that could be an issue. If one person put all the money and then at the end of the day, every party gets half, that could be a problem for the people involved. So that's why I'm saying it's probably best to go halvesies on everything so that way when it comes down to the end, everybody gets their own portion of what they invested in the home and everything is fine. Something else to consider if you didn't purchase this home with your loved one, you just met a person and you fell in love with them and you decided to move in. Maybe you did not invest anything initially, but if you're going to be splitting bills with them and things like that, this advice that I'm giving is not to take advantage of one person or the other. If you are a person who made the investment all by yourself and you're having your loved one move in, don't take offense to any of this. I'm not trying to teach people how to take advantage of you, but I just want both parties to know exactly what happens when someone does move in with you. So it is a risk for the current homeowner to have someone move in that's not a spouse, or it's also a risk for the person coming in to someone else's home. It may feel like one person could be taking advantage of the other. So I'm not trying to teach you guys how to take advantage of people and take half of their investments or anything like that. I just want both parties to be completely knowledgeable when getting into something like this. So if you're the party moving in and you decide that you're going to start splitting bills with this person, that's great. That's good for you. Make sure that you do have your mail being sent there so you can claim it as your homestead, because there is protection. If that is your homestead, which means your primary residence, the only place you live, you are protected. So when that house goes to close, maybe you guys decide to sell, even if you're not on the loan or you're not on the deed, you have full rights to that home, and you can split it halfway. I have sat down at closings where the girlfriend or the boyfriend, whoever the other loved one is, just says that they're signing off on any interest of the home. They are not seeking for any money or anything like that. You know, if you're going to stay with that person, you're not going to take advantage of them. But it's crazy because sometimes even the person who purchased the home originally and had someone else move in, they continue paying the bills. And if you are this person, you need to be careful. If you have a loved one move in with you, there are certain laws that will actually hurt you in the long run if this person is claiming that house as a homestead. It might be best to have something in writing if you feel like it might be a little too risky. You know, hey, like you're moving in here, but you don't have rights to half of the things. You might have to put something together. If you just depend on the Texas law, like I said earlier, common law marriage, that person could essentially take 50% of your earnings, either if you sell it or if they end up moving out or something like that. I mean, there's so many ways that that person could take some of your money. So you have to be really, really careful. All right, now that I got this scary part out of the way, I do want to talk about how beautiful it is that, you know, you could be buying a home with your loved one, even if you guys are not married. You know, even if one person pays most of the bigger bills and the other person pays the smaller bills. At the end of the day, if you guys split up, I think you just have to be okay with the fact, like, if you didn't put any money in, like, don't try to fight for any money. If you are a homeowner and you're selling your property, but you never told anyone that, you know, a girlfriend, a boyfriend was living with you the whole time, they've been living with you for a long time, they'll never know. And so the only way is if you notify them, maybe your realtor says something, or they ask you some questions like, is there anyone else that could have rights to this home? You know, if you tell them, yes, I do have a girlfriend that's been living with me for more than 6 months. I understand the laws of common marriage and things like that. In most cases, people are not going to bring that up. But if they do, that's the only way they'll find out. I mean, it is a little tricky. But yeah, it's a beautiful thing to purchase a home. And even if you don't pay half, I think at the end of the day, if you feel like you should get half of the proceeds if the house is sold, I mean, that's something that you have to be okay in your heart and your conscience to do. You can't take advantage of people. Like, if you came in and you never paid a bill, like, you shouldn't try to be fighting for half. I mean, legally you could probably take half, but if you want to be able to sleep at night, you know, and have a good reputation about yourself, like, don't do this kind of stuff. Don't take half of somebody's money when you never invested originally. You didn't put down payment money. You didn't put closing cost money. You didn't pay any bills. You know, you didn't pay the grass man. Like, if you didn't pay anything and you just moved in to this person's home, don't take advantage of them, guys. Like, we see this happen a lot, and it's not a nice thing. And I'm a strong believer in karma, and if you do these things, like, it's gonna come back to you, so don't do them. But I did want to address them, like, they could happen. So if you are the homeowner, again, be careful what you do. And if you're a person coming into someone else's home, like, even if you pay or don't pay, like, you need to do what's right at the end of the day. But yeah, I did want to point out that, you know, if something terrible happened and you feel like you invested a lot of money, even though it was not your original house, you do have a full right here in Texas. In my experience in real estate, I really have seen it all. I've seen couples that are not married and they both apply for the loan. They're both on the loan. They're both on the deed. That's probably the simplest way to do it. Another way I've seen this too is when people are engaged and they buy a house prior to being married, and maybe only one person got on the loan. But guys, obviously, like, they're going to get married. So the minute that they're married, like, that person's name will actually be on the deed. You'll just have to add them because that'll be your spouse. But even if you didn't add them legally to the deed, if you're planning to get married after the purchase, I mean, that house is going to be their primary residence again. And if you guys get divorced in that scenario, then of course each party is able to get half of whatever the proceeds are when the sale is done. I've had clients call me and say, you know, I can't do this payment anymore. My person, you know, and I broke up, so I need a little bit of help here. We need to sell. We need to figure something out. So sometimes I do get those calls. You know, people are saying, hey, like, it didn't work out. My best advice to people is, if you're purchasing a home with a loved one, make sure that if one person leaves, you can still afford it, so you can keep your home. At that point, it would really suck if you lose your loved one and then you have to lose your home. So make sure that when you buy, it's something affordable that even one person could handle if the other one leaves. That's always a smart choice to do. But I thought I'd give you guys just some tips on what I'm seeing out here, all kinds of scenarios. And if you have some kind of scenario you want me to just kind of talk to you about, something special, something you're worried about, hey, I'm going to invest half, but I'm not going to be on the deed or the loan. Do I still get it back if something were to happen? There's just so many things that we can discuss. Of course, the legal experts are going to be very handy to you, but we have some scenarios we've seen, and we can kind of share what we think is best for you, what things you shouldn't be worried about, what things you should be worried about, and just a few details of like what we've seen personally in our experience. All right, guys, I have so much to do today, so I'm gonna go ahead and say goodbye. Thank you so much for watching. If you're still here, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any other videos. Until next week, I can't wait to see you, and thank you again for watching.